Greetings, pet lovers. Bridget here with First Street Pets. And today we're going to talk about the best kinds of insurance for in home dog boarding and daycare. In home dog boarding and daycare is a very popular business model today. Entrepreneurs take on a lot of risk starting a new business, and you want to make sure that you have the coverage you need at a price you can afford. So, why do you need insurance to begin with? What is it that could possibly go wrong? Well, in any business, insurance is important, but if you've been around dogs for any amount of time, you know that things can go wrong, especially when you have multiple dogs together. Dogs can get into fights, they can get injured, they can eat something and get sick, they can run away, they can cause damage to other people's property. Many things can go wrong, so having insurance in place will not just tell people that you are a professional to be taken seriously, but that you are able to provide coverage when things go wrong. While there is, of course, a cost, dog boarding and daycare insurance is a lot cheaper than that for other kinds of businesses. Depending on the options you select, many policies can be purchased for less than $500 a year. So, you've decided to get insurance for your business. Where should you purchase it? There are a million insurance agents out there. And if you just start searching the internet, it will take you down an endless rabbit hole. My recommendation is while any insurance broker or agent can write a policy for you, because these kinds of businesses are very specific and they're different from dog kennel businesses and, more traditional kinds of businesses. If you're doing dog boarding and daycare in home or pet sitting or dog walking, I recommend you go to companies that specifically provide those policies. Two that I recommend, which will be linked in the description, are Pet Sitter Associates LLC and Pet Care Affiliates. When shopping for a policy, you want to have an idea of exactly what your business model is and what your needs are. Otherwise, you won't get the coverage you need and you may end up paying for things that you don't need. So, what are the types of essential coverage? Commercial general liability includes bodily injury, property damage, personal injury, and advertising injury. So each type covers specific situations up to the amount you select. So you want to make sure you understand what they do and do not cover. Let's talk about bodily injury. So, this covers physical injury to another person. For example, a dog in your care bites a person and they require medical care, or a dog gets away from you and knocks a person down. These incidents could cost thousands of dollars without coverage. However, it does not cover injury to the business owner or to staff. Number two is property damage. This covers damage the dogs do to someone else's property. For example, you're walking dogs and they jump on someone's car and scratch the paint. Because animals are legally considered property, this would also cover an injury to another dog in your care, say as a result of a fight. However, it does not cover damage to your home or to your personal pets. That's something you yourself would be responsible for or through your homeowners or renters policy. Number three, personal injury. So this covers non physical injury to the business owner, and I'll explain. Examples include accusations of libel or slander from your competitors, or malicious lawsuits brought against your business by people like former clients who were unsatisfied, disgruntled former employees, or anyone else who wants to make trouble for you. However, it does not cover acts by the business owner that are intentionally harmful to others. So it basically covers someone trying to cause you harm, but they don't actually have a legitimate claim against you. Number four is advertising injury. So this covers accusations of harm to individuals or other businesses by your advertising efforts. So, for example, you create marketing pieces using photos of clients and their dogs without permission. Not uncommon, people do it. But let's say the client sues you for violation of their privacy because you have a picture of them or their dog or something taken in their home. So, in another example, you might create an ad comparing your services to a competitor, saying that they don't do as good of a job as you do. And maybe you actually name them or you suggest that it's this other person that doesn't do as good work as your company does. They could sue you and claim that you caused them to lose revenue. Now, some of these things may be accidental and you didn't realize what you were doing or you didn't mean that. So it's a little bit of a gray area, but advertising injury insurance does not cover intentional acts. So if you knowingly used someone's image for your own gain, didn't ask their permission, didn't care, or you intentionally targeted another business with the attempt of taking business away from them, they could have a case against you and the insurance probably isn't going to cover you. So, the second essential part is care, custody, and control. This protects the dogs in your care should something go wrong. If they go missing, get sick or injured, or unfortunately die while you're in your care, this could happen due to illness or injury. Vet bills can run into the thousands or even over 10,000 these days. So, very important to have this insurance in place. One thing to make sure of is that the policy covers dogs in all the locations you may care for, including your home, your car, and other properties like a park where you may take them. If the insurance is only for one location and they get hurt at another, you might not be covered. So make sure that the coverage specifies that regardless of negligence, because you want to be covered even if you made a mistake or one of your staff makes a mistake. That's unfortunate, but you still want to be covered. It does not cover misfortunes that happen to your own personal pets. So, again, most of us have our own dogs. If the dogs in your care bite your dog, that's on you. It's not covered by the insurance. Here are some other types of coverage that you may need depending on your particular business. Products and completed operations, and I'll explain what all these things mean. Commercial property, workers' compensation, additional individuals, additional locations, and additional insured. So I'll explain what those mean because they may or may not apply to your particular situation. So, number one, products and completed operations. This is common with manufacturers and construction firms, and in today's world is included in policies for pet businesses. So, some entrepreneurs also like to make dog treats, custom beds, walking harnesses, or other products to sell or give to clients. This coverage will cover the business if a product causes illness or injury. So let's say you make treats and a dog gets sick or something like that, or you make walking harnesses or leashes and they break and the dog gets injured. It's amazing what people will sue for. And this will cover you if anything like that happens. Like the other coverages, it does not cover injury or illness to your own personal pets. Number two, commercial property. This covers damage to a property you may rent for your business. So you may want to just take care of a couple dogs at home, or you may want a bigger operation. You may want to do some training, have an agility course, have a park area where you can run the dogs, or a warehouse. You will also want to have that property covered by your insurance. If the property or the equipment in the property are damaged by fire, a storm, or another disaster, you will be compensated. So let's say the building burns down and you can't run your business, you would be compensated for that. So it doesn't cover your personal property. So if you're only providing care in your home, you don't need this type of coverage. Number three, workers' comp. You've probably heard of this if you've ever had a job or been injured on the job. So, this covers the injury or illness of staff working in the business. Very important if you have people working for you. If your staff are employees, it's probably required by law in your state. For example, a staff member could be bitten, could fall, or could hurt their back in this kind of work. So, very important to have that coverage if you have staff on board. It does not cover the business owner. So again, it's on you. You want to make sure you have your own health insurance to manage illness or injury in yourself. Number four, additional individuals. So most of the coverages discussed here are applied to the business owner, but in order for coverage to apply to individuals other than the owner, they have to be named in the policy. So some examples include your spouse, your business partner, or a staff member. If one of these individuals is responsible for a claim, for example, if that person was watching the dogs and not you, and something happens and you're the only one named in the policy, it might not be covered. This does not cover injury or illness to that individual. So that would be covered by something like workers' comp. It only covers their acts that caused a claim, like dogs getting into a fight, or getting loose and causing a vet bill. Number 5, additional locations. So most of this is performed in the business owner's home. That's kind of what we're talking about in this video. However, as I mentioned with the commercial property, you may want to start utilizing additional locations. It might be a staff member's home. Maybe you're just going to do old dogs and small dogs, and they're going to do big active dogs or something like that. So you want to make sure to name that location as well in your policy, because if something happens there and only your address is mentioned, and that's not going to be covered. So it does not cover damage to the location itself or to that person's personal pets. Number 6 is additional insureds. So this covers the owners of other businesses like a dog park or an agility training facility from liability. So if you conduct business at offsite locations, it's probably a good idea to name the owners of those properties as additional insureds. And in fact, they may require it. I have experienced that even when I've done training and consulting where the location, the business would require that I list them as an additional insured in the course of conducting my business. So again, this does not cover injury to the sitter or the dogs in their care. This is only for the owners of the other facility if an accident happens on their property. Part of reading the fine print in any insurance policy is understanding the limitations. So here are some important examples. Dogs off leash. So some policies will not cover a claim resulting from dogs being off leash on your property. This might be a dog park or a dog running down the street off leash. So if doing this is part of your business, having free roaming packs of dogs, whether you're hiking them in the mountains or at a dog park, make sure that this is covered because there's so much more potential for an accident with loose groups of dogs. Some policies will only cover dogs that are being walked on a leash. There are limitations on the number of dogs. So, for example, a typical limit would be 10 dogs total during the day and 5 dogs overnight because the insurance companies determine that this is a reasonable number that probably won't be overcrowded, so be getting into fights and running into trouble. So, these limitations are an attempt to reduce liability. I spent a lot of time bringing all this research together from the internet to present it to you, and I hope that it is helpful. The best way for you to move forward is to contact some of the insurance companies, have all the information that you need together, and be sure to ask all the questions you want to ask before agreeing on a policy that meets your needs. I wish you success in your business, and thank you for watching.